and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars, and welcome to another video. Welcome back to sunny England. We're in the mid-July now, the rain has not stopped and it's making filming a little bit difficult. But nevertheless, we're bringing the Cayman out today because I've got a meeting to go to with a garage about a possible collaboration, so that's really exciting. Also, I wanted to talk to you about a few modifications that I'm going to be doing and one that I already have done to my Cayman. Regular viewers will have seen that when I went to Germany, when I went to the Nürburgring, Misha, aka the king of the Nürburgring, took the Cayman out for a hot lap. While I sat there like a terrified farm animal, he threw the Cayman round at speeds that I didn't even think it could achieve. It was honestly the most terrifying experience of my life. If you haven't seen that video, then click the top of the screen now, which will take you to it, because honestly, I've never felt anything like it in a car. But when he took the car around, he did notice it felt maybe a little bit loose. He wasn't confident to push the car any harder, and I'm kind of glad of that. I didn't want it to be pushed any harder than he currently was. But he said that he could have gone a lot quicker if it didn't feel so loose. Now, we had suspicions that maybe a rear shock was either gone or going, but he didn't feel that it was the shock absorbers. Plus, there's no leak and the suspension levels are absolutely bob on after I got the geometry done. So he thinks it was the bushings. It would make sense. The bushings, as far as I'm aware, have never been done. This car's now 18 and they're probably well past it. And I don't know whether it's in my mind, but now when I'm driving the car, I am feeling the wobbliness that he talked about. I feel it shudder over bumps, and when I drove a new Cayman the other day, it just felt so solid, so planted to the road, and I thought maybe, just maybe, he's right. So we're going to be going to the garage to talk about what can be done about that. Of course, replacing the bushings is fairly straightforward. That would change the handling of the car, it would change everything, make it feel totally different. But I want to go one step further and fit a set of coilovers to it. Yes, I'm going to be modifying my car once again. But I have been busy. I have done some modifications to the car. I've got one planned, which will be happening in the next few weeks, and the other one I've completed. And it's been completed thanks to today's sponsor, Gauge Faces. Gauge Faces make custom gauges for all cars. Porsches, BMWs, Ferraris, you name it, they make gauges for it. They do OEM style gauges, but they also do custom ones. You can have pretty much whatever you want on the dials. When they reached out to me to sponsor this video, they asked me what type of dials I wanted. Well, it's not something I'd ever considered before. I was quite happy with the way the dials looked, and it's never been something that I've wanted. But after I looked at their website and saw some of the options, I thought, it's got to be done. And because I don't want this car to be modified, I went for these. Now these are like a Sport Classic style dial cluster. So instead of the white faces, I've got black, and I've got that lovely bit of green and red right on the rev counter between 3,500 revs. I just think they look great. A lot of some keen viewers will notice the font type of these. This is the latest font type for Porsches, so it's not from the right era, but I think it brings the whole car up to date, makes it look more modern. And although I did like the white dials, I have to say, at night, these things look stunning. On top of that, I've got Cayman S written in the middle of the dials. That's the level of customization you can go to. You can do pretty much whatever you want. I've seen images of people that have had the Nürburgring outline on the dials, you know, different color combinations, you name it, they can do it. Not only that, but they sent proofs through, so you know you're 100% happy before you place the order. All their details can be found in the description below. Also, if you are in the market for getting some new dials for your car, that's who I would suggest you use. If you use my code that's in the pinned comment and in the description, you will get 20% off any order you place with them. So go ahead, check out their website and give them a follow on Instagram. These dials do come with a bit of a caveat from my point of view. I'm not the most mechanically minded, I don't do that much to my car. I'm not totally inept, but I'm not the best. And when I had my Renault Sport Megane, I did take the dials apart on that because I swapped them for some Renault Sport ones. They were super easy to get out, and it wasn't that complicated. I did kind of feel that the Porsche ones would be like that. They would be quite simple, they weren't. Getting the Porsche dials out was an absolute nightmare. You have to pull with all your might to get these dials out. Once they're out, to swap the gauges, it's not for the faint-hearted. I just assumed it would be a fairly straightforward thing of just unclipping the back, sliding the new faces in and going. But no, once you remove the needles, the dials are fully stuck in, and the only way to get them out is to get this special tool to push the pins out, which hold the dials in place. I obviously didn't have that tool, so I used a socket that was just the right size to pop them out. Now, the whole job took hours. I thought it was going to take, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to do once I'd got the dials out. I think the dials were in pieces on my kitchen bench for probably 3 hours, and I was actually concerned that I was not going to be able to get it back together. I had circuit boards everywhere, and it was pretty stressful. The end result, as you can see, is absolutely stunning, but it does come with a caveat that if you are thinking of doing this modification, then you do need to know what you're doing. I'm super happy with the end result. I cannot tell you how cool they look, especially at night. And just having this little bit of personalisation to the car is what I wanted. I want it to look factory, and I think that is what I've achieved. So I'm really happy with it. So thank you so much to today's sponsors, Gauge Faces, for reaching out to me and sponsoring this video. But while we're on the subject of the Cayman and I'm driving it in this beautiful British summer that we're having, I just thought I would touch on a few of the plans that I've got for the car over the coming weeks. I have got another modification coming, which a lot of you will be really pleased to see being added to the car. It's been mentioned in the comments a lot, so drop it in the comment below, see if you can guess what the next modification is going to be. Bearing in mind, it's pretty much OEM plus, that's all I'm going to say. Next up is road trips. I loved going to the Nürburgring in this car, and it really made me sort of fall in love with the car all over again. I didn't think I could like it as much as I did, and the whole journey was just absolutely fabulous. I've been trying to get press cars to do sort of adventures in and different things, and then it just dawned on me, why do I need a press car when I've got this? This is the car I want to take on epic adventures, and that's how I want the channel to go forward. I want to build this channel up so it's huge, so it becomes my full-time job, and I can start going on bigger and bigger adventures. Things are going to be changing from next month as I'm actually reducing my hours at work to concentrate more on YouTube. So you will see some high quality videos coming out, and definitely more frequent. The first big trip we have planned is the North Coast 500. That's going to be happening next month. So we're doing the North Coast 500 in this car. I cannot wait for it. But anyway, if you have any other suggestions or where you want me to take this car, what modifications you want me to do, and what you think I should do with it over the coming year, then drop it in the comment below, because it'd be really interesting to see what you guys want to see. This channel was built on suggestions from people and all the support that you've given me over the last 3 years, and the channel has grown to this level. It's surprising, really. But anyway, without further waffle from me, we're going to head to Sam Lander Porsche at Malton and discuss some modifications and a potential collaboration. So I'll see you very shortly. Right, well that was a little bit unexpected. So popped in to see Sam at Sam Lander's Porsche, and yeah, when we took the car out for a drive to try and diagnose maybe what this wobbliness is that Misha talked about. Sam actually thought the car felt really good. We took it out on some quite bumpy roads, and this road in particular that we're on is always one that he says will reveal the issues if you have with coffin arms. So if your coffin arms are gone, this road will pretty much diagnose that. He thought the car felt really good. I mean, he did agree that maybe the bushings were getting there, but he felt that maybe it's because Misha drove the car so hard that actually pushed it above its limit, and ultimately made the car feel a little bit wobbly. The wobbliness is probably down to the fact that the suspension is standard and quite high. It's not something I can do to the car because I can't have it any lower than it currently is because I won't get it on my driveway. So I'm gonna have to stick with the high suspension, at least for the time being. So I discussed the possibility of fitting some coilovers to the car. Coilovers would give me a lot more firm ride, less wobbly, but I'd have to have the car sat really quite high for coilovers because without them being high, I wouldn't get on my drive. So he reckons that the trade-off wouldn't be worth it. You'd end up with a car that was really hard, but also needs to be dropped. So it wouldn't really be worth it. While he took the car out though, he did notice a problem which I've mentioned on the channel before. I've had a go at fixing it and I just can't get to the bottom of it, and that is the gear stick. Now the gear stick on this is super stiff. I mean, I've got used to it, but it's not great, and you really do have to ram it into park, otherwise it will just not go in. Quite simply, it will not go into park. It's a problem that I knew the car had, and it seems to have got progressively worse over the years of owning it. So it is something I have tried to fix, like I said. I've given it a go. I've had the whole dashboard apart and there was just no adjustment to be had under the gear stick, which is where people say the stiffness comes from. So Sam decided that today was the day when he was going to fix it for me, because he said it was just awful, you can't change gear, and he's never felt one quite as bad as this one. So he just immediately started work, pulling bits off the bottom of the car, and luckily had one of the gear linkages. The connection underneath had started to corrode and broken the plastic clip, which meant there was too much movement in it, so wouldn't go into park. He's since changed it, and it's night and day. I can change with one finger. Before I'd use a lot of strength in my arm, and I think some of you have even picked up on it in videos where I've been writhing the car into park. Yeah, I don't have to do that anymore because it's fixed. So a little bit of an impromptu repair on the Porsche while we've been visiting Sam. While we've had the car in as well, he did notice, and it's something that I knew was wrong with the car, but it has a sump leak on its gearbox. Not very good, and he suggested we should probably get that done before we even think about suspension, because if that goes and all the oil pours out, you're stranded. So maybe I should get that sorted, and then we know the gearbox, the drivetrain, and everything is absolutely spot on. Now, when I set off today, I didn't expect my gearbox to feel this much better. So big shout out to Sam at Sam Lander's Garage for an amazing service, and I really do look forward to collaborating with him in the future with lots more exciting projects. So stay tuned if you want to see more of that. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, a little bit of an update on my Cayman with an impromptu repair as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for plenty more videos like this one to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.